another big edition of the Ballarat Football Netball League Netball Show. What a big weekend we've got coming up. My name's Yeendy, I'm joined by Grace. Geez, it's all happening as Interleague's just around the corner, but we've got some great matches from last week, great matches coming up this week. It's a great time of year.
Certainly is. It's very exciting, Yeendy. Obviously, clubs have one more chance to get a win on the board before we go into the Interleague break, which is great for all the clubs, but very exciting results happening last week, and I'm sure big matches to come this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see North Ballarat City. They're really starting to build some momentum with a solid win over Bacchus Marsh.
Yeah, they are. We've always talked about their strong, united front that they've got down there with Annie and the girls, obviously Stace, Gina and Lou, all pivotal in the North Ballarat success, and that when they bring in the likes of Sasha and Laura McDonald, Emma Church, all those ones, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Definitely right there. Well, I think Bacchus Marsh could still be feeling pretty positive about that effort because they haven't had the great success so far this year, but to be able to challenge one of the front runners for this season is very good for them.
Yeah, they've sort of been around the mark each week. They're not getting beaten by a lot. They can always take confidence in the fact that they are in matches for the majority of those 4 quarters, which is good for them. And they're a reasonably young group. They'll start pulling those games together and getting wins on the board on the back end of this season.
Definitely right there. East Points of starting to flex their muscles, looking like a very dangerous threat. They took a hold of Melton by 32 goals. Yeah,
East Point are nearly back to their premiership best from a couple of years ago. They've got Emma Farrell, that's obviously dynamic in the goal ring with Lauren Dew, and then they've got experience in youth in Bethany Smith and Marcel down the other end. So they're a very, very good team, and I think we probably shouldn't have written them off as early as what we did. They're up and about this year. So
it's all about writing teams off and then having them prove us wrong, and then us hearing all about it.
Clubs love proving us wrong.
Absolutely, exactly right.
Motivating them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we can probably write off a few more teams, and then we might end up writing off the eventual premiers, eventual grand finalists. We can start doing that now because that's how much pull power we have here. But Sunbury Lions 62 taking down Darley 24 by 38 goals. The Lions are up and about.
Yeah, it's hard to see Lions getting beaten anytime soon, to be honest. They're just one step above the rest. And poor Darley, they had a win last week, and maybe a bit of a reality check for Chris and the girls this week, but they're a young team. They'll bounce back, I'm sure, but Sunbury's certainly a benchmark at this stage.
So look out, Darley will make the grand final now because we can put a big line through them. They'll be right, and I love the work that Chris is doing with the Interleague campaign as well, working with some of the young girls there and sort of getting some really good talent coming up through with everything he's been doing lately too.
Yeah, Chris is certainly doing a great job, and it's great that he's put his hand up to coach our Gold Coast trip, which some people may or may not know, but yeah, we can't thank Chris enough for the work that he does.
He's absolutely outstanding there. The Lakers are up and about, had a really big win over Redan on Saturday night, 53-34.
Yeah, this one surprised me a little bit. Lakers were a bit slow off the mark when they took on Ballarat in their first match, and second match I thought they'd come out a little bit strong, but I didn't expect them to beat Redan and to beat them as convincingly as what they did. They've got a lot of youth in their team as well. Eleni Hooper comes across from North Ballarat, and she's doing an excellent job in the goal circle, and the likes of Ella Bibby and that coming up through the ranks. Ella's been at the club for a while now, but her first sort of real senior game. So, good to see Lake Wendouree up and about.
Yeah, and I spoke to a few Redan supporters on the night. They were quite impressed with how the Lakers played as well too. So something for them to sort of work on the Redan side. And the final game on which was Sunday, we had Sebastopol too strong for Ballarat by 15 goals.
Yeah, this would excite you, Yeendy, because you've written them off last week.
Oh, I've written them off, and I've written them off this week too as well. So
it's good for George and the girls to get a win on the board. Ballarat are not an easy beat by any means, and for them to win like they did on the weekend was impressive for the Sebast Footy Club, and they'll obviously take a lot of confidence out of it getting that first win on the board despite a hard fixture.
And there's such a lot of talent in that Sebast side that they're probably they have underperformed this year because there is sort of genuine belief within that playing group that they probably should have won more games than they've lost so far. So I think hopefully after the break they've got a 2-week break coming up. So hopefully they get the chance to sort of assess themselves and really build on from that performance there against Ballarat, because Ballarat quality side with what they've been able to show this year. I think Sebast, when they get it together, they are a very hard team to beat.
Yeah, that's it. And they showed last year that they're capable of beating those top end teams, and it's just a matter of getting those 4 quarters together on the day. I don't know whether I'd like a bye into an interleague weekend.
Yeah.
That could be tough for the girls, but we'll see how they go in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, exactly. As Sebas have got the bye this weekend, we start with the first game. We've got Darley and Lake Windaree. This is a very, very important game for both sides.
Yeah, it is very important for both teams. If Lakers play like they did last weekend, I think they'll blow Darley out of the water, but Darley are certainly capable of competing, and it would just depend which team turns up on the day, but Lakers for me, mate.
Yeah, wet conditions there might play into the Lakers' hands a little bit more too, so I'll back them to win. Melton South and Bacchus Marsh. This is going to be a very interesting contest.
Yeah, I think this will be a bit closer than what everyone suggests. I think Melton South are probably too strong just with the class that they've brought across from Lancefield last year and Alan Watson in charge over there. I think they'll be too strong, but I think it'll definitely be a close game.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a game where Bacchus Marsh want to win because they have challenged some of the best sides in the competition. They just need to go on and be able to convert that. I think with conditions, it might just play into their hands just a little bit, and I'm going to back them to cause I'll say a bit of an upset because Melton South have got the runs on the board earlier on. I think Bacchus Marsh will just get over the line here. Ballarat and North Ballarat City.
Yeah, again, under lights, it's good that we see so many games under lights nowadays, but I think North Ballarat will be too strong for me. Ballarat are certainly doing all the things right, but North Ballarat have shown over time that they're consistently better performers.
Exactly, I'm with you on that department as well. It is good to see some of these night games, particularly this weekend. We'll touch on in a few moments' time with some of the excitement going on over the weekend. We've got Redan and East Point, which has now been changed to a day game.
Yeah, so that obviously has been changed to a day game with the issue with the lights last weekend. They'll hope to have more night games there in the future, but it's just a bit of a iffy thing at the minute.
Yeah, better be safe than sorry at
this
point.
Yeah, that's it, 100%. So for me, East Point will be too strong for Redan at this stage, but I think it'll be close. Redan have an uncanny way of performing really strong against strong opposition. So I think it'll be closer than what everyone else thinks after last weekend, but yeah, East Point for me.
Yeah, I think this is a game where Redan might actually cause a bit of an upset here because they would have been disappointed with how they went against the Lakers, but these are the games where you wouldn't be surprised if they get up and win, and I'm not going to be surprised if they do get up, which is why I'm getting on them in that game there. And the final game, we've got Sunbury Lions taking on Melton.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough one for Melton. They're sort of bringing up the rear of the ladder, and Sunbury are obviously on the total opposite end of the scale. So for me, Sunbury will get the job done and get the job done relatively easy. Yeah,
I can't disagree with you there. Is one of the big things we've got coming up on Saturday, which makes it good with I guess looking at the Ballarat North Ballarat City fixture, is that there's plenty of excitement going on with junior netball, and when you finish there, you can go on and watch some of the excitement over at Alfredton as well. But tell us a little just quickly about what's happening on Saturday.
So on Saturday we've got our BFNL versus RDFNL, so Riddle District Football Netball League will come to Windaree, and we'll have all the footballers in action as well as the 13s, 15s and 17s netball. It's a good opportunity for those young girls to gel as a team. I know a lot of our girls go to Barwon Championships, but it's a good opportunity for them to play another game before they head into their Association Championships Carnival, which starts the following week. Yeah, lots of exciting things happening on there with the junior netballers, and a great opportunity to have some of the great talent on display locally, because as you mentioned, with like the 13s and 15s, they do play over in Barwon on Mondays, and they've been playing some quality, top-notch netball over there, so it's a great chance for the locals to get a good look about how they're going if they don't get along to watch them in Barwon on Monday nights. Yeah, it is. It's really good, and it's like any local event's always going to bring a bit of a crowd, so it's good for the grandparents. They get to go out and have a look, and family that might not always be able to travel. I know the girls always go down on a bus, so it does make it hard for parents and the like to watch these kids in action, but it's really good. And in the 17s, we haven't seen a lot of the 17s kids, but the RDFNL and BFNL teams both host a fair few VNL players, so that'll certainly be played at a high standard. It certainly will be exciting. Make sure you get along to Lake Windaree on Saturday. Grace, thanks so much for joining us this week, and we look forward to the build-up of an exciting interleague campaign and a successful campaign we'll see this Saturday to talk next week on. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me, Yeendy. Welcome to another big edition. Why do you have to start it like that? Oh! Do that, you go.